friends. Welcome back to the Mama Gets It Done podcast. And today we're talking all about ways to find more time in your day as a very busy mama. So stick around. Some of my favorite tips are coming up. Are you ready to be more productive in your home and say goodbye to the dreaded mom guilt associated with a messy house and chaotic days? Hey, my name's Rachel, and the Mama Gets It Done podcast is for the everyday mom. Yes, even those hot mess moms who just need a little grace and a few tips for getting more done in your day. If you're ready to figure out how to stop hating cooking every night, how to give chaotic days a little more structure, and how to find more time for you in this crazy mom life, then you are in the right place. Welcome back to the Mama Gets It Done podcast. No, it's been a hot second. We are back full force here, and I cannot wait to talk to you today about ways that you can find more time in your very busy day. So these are a few key hacks that I find make all the difference. So let's buckle up and just get to it. My number one tip that I'm going to share with you, and I think it's very important to address overwhelm and not actually finishing anything, is to stop multitasking. Stop it. Stop trying to watch your kids and finish up some work and try and do a fun activity with them all at the same time, right? If we're splitting our focus constantly and trying to get all kinds of things done at once, then it's a really, honestly, it's a formula for burnout and also for overwhelm, because when you have to switch your focus constantly and you cannot stay on one thing for any kind of solid amount of time. I mean, even just 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a solid amount of time as a busy mom to be able to focus on one thing. Then you're going to feel completely overwhelmed and feel like you never actually finished anything. So when we multitask, I have a really important rule that I like to talk about with multitasking. Number one, stop multitasking not strategically. We only want to strategically multitask in our lives. So when I talk about strategic multitasking, I'm talking about something that is super, super simple. So obviously, you can start a load of laundry and do the dishes at the same time, right? That technically is multitasking, kinda. But another thing that you could actually multitask is doing the dishes and listening to a podcast or a book or something like that. That is something that's really helping you, right? Something that wouldn't work, though, if you're putting that into this equation, is in the mornings if you're doing the dishes and your kids are trying to talk to you, or you're trying to help them get ready for school as they're going through, and you're listening to a podcast all at the same time. And the reason why that is not strategic anymore is because two of those things require your focus and your brain power. Your dishes don't need brain power, right? They're pretty much you just do them. But the podcast or your self-help book or whatever you want to listen to, and trying to help your kids get ready in the morning and directing them and corralling them, that uses brain power. So both of those things should not be done at the same time. So this is my general rule that I share anytime somebody asks me about multitasking, is just pair things that you don't need your brain for with things that you do need your brain for, but only one thing gets to use your brain power in that time. Another thing that you can really think about with multitasking is think about how you feel as you're doing those things that you're multitasking. Maybe you don't even realize that you are multitasking. Maybe you're going through your day and you realize you are so sporadic and you're trying to do 3 million things at one time, and it's just not working. So really sit down and analyze your day and see where are you multitasking that is working and where are you multitasking isn't working, and immediately just stop the things that aren't working. Now, this can take some practice because some things is just how you naturally would do it and how you think this should go. and it isn't the best for you. And you end up overwhelmed and annoyed and just like a burnt out mom, right? So do your best to identify those places that are not serving you and kick them to the curb, get them out of here. Another tip for finding more time in our days is to stop setting yourself up for failure by planning too much in one day. I'm serious. Like, this is everything. If you are giving yourself a list to do every day and you feel totally defeated each day because you cannot get this list done to the point where you just stop planning altogether, you're not serving yourself by making these massive lists. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So we're going to start really, really small here, okay? Pick 3 things a day that you want to do. That's it. 3 important things a day. Now, this is in general, I'm talking about like to-dos around your house or something. Maybe you just want to start with 1 thing a day. That is okay. There are certain non-negotiables in your day. I usually don't count those as like my 1 thing. But sometimes when you're struggling, that can be your 1 thing, right? And feel good in the accomplishment that you got it done. So things that for me is a non-negotiable, like taking the kids to school, picking up the kids from school, like those are the 2 really non-negotiables in my day that I have to get done. So I usually don't make those one of my 3 things that I want to do in a day. But sometimes days are so crazy, that's all you got. Sometimes it has to be a doctor's appointment. And even though that's a non-negotiable, maybe the doctor's appointment is going to take too long for you to really accomplish anything else. So hands off, that's what it's going to be. Making sure that you're not picking too many things is just so key here, because it's going to, again, the overwhelm, and it's going to help you feel more productive. And when you feel more productive and you're more motivated to get these things done, then you actually will keep it up. And this will help you create good habits and good schedules and routines that are just going to help make your life so much easier. This is really similar to a snowball method for debt. So if you're into this kind of thing, a snowball method is when you pay off your debt, but you start with the smallest debt, and then you work your way up. And so you are really motivated by the time you get to these bigger debts because you've paid off so many small ones. You're rolling, you're snowballing, and you're like, I can do this. So this is the same thing. This is the same concept when we're thinking about setting up our days, is like, okay, pick 1 thing. And when you get that 1 thing done, hey, maybe you'll feel like doing more things. But it's okay to just get that 1 thing done, and then the next day get 1 thing done, and then maybe we'll keep adding as we go, right? You're snowballing your like motivation here. And it really, like, it works so well when you just cut down your to-do list, and you'll see that your like mental health feels better, and then you actually just might get more things done than if you just see a whole list that you were overwhelmed with and you just quit. Because hello, I've done that too. If you're enjoying these tips as we're going, this is a part of our free Busy Mama daily schedule reset. You can find it at the link in the show notes. It's a whole PDF that takes you through step by step on how to like reset your daily schedule and find a better way. And it's super awesome. I love it. So definitely go sign up for that at the link in the show notes or at the link below the video. All right. Number 3 is we're going to find a flexible schedule that actually works for you. I know schedules are like, you feel like they're the worst. And that is probably because you have probably followed a very strict hour by hour, minute by minute schedule that just never worked and made you feel like a failure. And I have a whole podcast on that. I'll also link to that in the show notes so that you can find it. But we don't need those types of schedules. Those schedules do not serve us. They do not help us. We want a flexible schedule. As you all might know, if you've listened before, my favorite type of schedule is a block schedule. Again, I have a whole other podcast on that too. We'll have to link that too. You guys need all these things. But any type of flexible schedule is going to help serve you, because a flexible schedule meets a few really important key things. It's not going to get totally knocked off rails if you miss something and if you have to skip something, right? You're not going to be totally thrown off. You just skip it and go on with your life. It will not affect the rest of your day. Also, a flexible schedule is easy to like flip flop around and switch. It's okay that you didn't get this thing done at this particular time. If you get it done a little early or a little late, it's all right. Don't worry about it. And also, a flexible schedule is somewhat of a mindset thing too. That you're okay if you have to throw the whole schedule out the freaking window because the day's not going the way you want, and just try and go down to a really basic framework. And that's why I really like these block schedules, is because they are built on this super basic framework that you can build on. But if you have a super basic framework for your day, then you can actually move forward and know, like, okay, so my whole afternoon was a wash. That's okay. I need to switch into this. I need to switch into dinner time mode. I need to go ahead and get dinner on. And even though the rest of the day has been a mess, I know that this is the mode I need to be in now. So I'm going to flip over real quick and we're going to move on. And I know that's so hard when a day has been a wash and you feel like nothing has gotten done. It's super important to be able to move forward in your day, regardless of how the rest of it has been, so that you can actually still get some really important key things done and get to that me time that you probably really need at that point. Let's be honest. All right. Number 4 on how to find more time in your busy days is to find those small 5 to 10 minute pockets of time to get more done. So you may think, okay, I can't get anything done in 5 minutes. 10 minutes, maybe not. That sounds like not a lot of time to get anything done, right? You can get so much done in these tiny little minutes if we just like really pounce on them and take advantage of them when we find them. So here's an example. In the mornings, when I'm making my coffee, that maybe takes a minute or two. So this isn't even 5 minutes. Anytime I'm making my coffee, I am throwing dishes in the sink. I'm picking up something. I am doing something in my kitchen to make it better. And then when the coffee's done, I call it done and I go on with my life and I go do what I need to do. But if I'm standing there in front of my coffee machine and I have 2 minutes, I'm going to take advantage of that 2 minutes. Another example would be just anytime you find that your kid is occupied and you may have 5 minutes before they need to change, right? Before they are going to switch over and need you again. So maybe you take that time to literally do a 5-minute pickup of the floor, a 5-minute pickup of your entryway, a 5-minute pickup of your office, which my office needs badly. It may not feel like you're getting anywhere with these small little 5-minute pickups, but let me tell you, when you instate them and just jump on them when you can get to them, it knocks out so many things and so much stress that you visually like see. Like if you see your house cluttered and messy, it affects our mental health more than we probably want to admit, right? So knocking out the little things that you can get done in those tiny, tiny minutes, that's just eventually it adds up to, hey, I've cleaned for an hour today. But I just took advantage of those random minutes that I had. Because let's be honest, as busy moms, we don't have an hour. We don't have a solid hour that the kids aren't bugging us. We don't have a solid hour that we're not supposed to be taking care of something else. So taking advantage of those tiny pockets and making them work for you can be everything. I've noticed that the majority of my house cleaning can get done in 15 minutes for general pickups and stuff. Now, hardcore cleaning, that's not going to happen. We need to like find a different strategy for that, or you need to break it up into these smaller minutes. So that's a really good strategy too for if you're wondering like, what am I supposed to do in these 5 to 10 minutes, right? That I find, make a list. So you're going to make a list of all the things that you think you could get done in 5 to 10 minutes. If you don't know anything that you could get done in 5 to 10 minutes, start timing yourself and figure out like, oh, it only took me like 5 minutes to pick up the living room. What? Okay, that's something I can do, and go from there. But making a list of things you want to get done that only take like 5 to 10 minutes or maybe 15, that's a little bit pushing it, you know. And these things that you can get done in these short amounts of time, and then work your way down the list as you go. Or just clean the room that you're in with your kid for just a minute. Just taking advantage of these times, you're going to find that at the end of the night, if you've taken advantage of these times all day long, that you are in much better shape than you ever thought you could be. Okay. And tip number 5 that I know you guys may have some issue with, maybe here, is do have planning days and plan like meal plans so you have a lot of stuff done ahead of time for your week. Now you may say, Rachel, I have planned before, I have tried and I have failed, and it's just a waste of time. I just end up writing things on paper that never get done. We need to work on some strategies there. But there's all kinds of things we can do to make sure that we're actually getting things done and not just writing it on paper. And that starts with like going super basic. Sorry, I keep veering off track. But anyways, having days where you plan out your tasks and getting them down on paper to the point where you can actually follow them actually takes away a lot of the mental load that you have in the day and a lot of time that you just spending thinking, what am I supposed to do next? Because you're overwhelmed because there's a million things to do next, right? So whether you like it or not, meal planning and planning ahead for your days and weeks actually saves you so much time, regardless of how much time you're ending up planning, right? Maybe you take an hour to plan for your week and 30 minutes to meal plan, which for me, meal planning is like a 5 to 15 minute process. We can talk more about that later. Let me know if you want a whole like meal planning to do. We can do that. But when you make these plans and you actually write down what you need to get done in a smart and strategic way on a flexible schedule, then you'll find that instead of wondering what you're supposed to do and waste like 5 to 10 minutes like figuring that out, you actually just do it and then you get more done. So having a plan ahead of time allows you to just execute instead of wondering like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? What is my next priority when you haven't identified that yet? And two, like you end up wasting, like just think, if you spend like 5 to 10 minutes a day, just 5 to 10 minutes a day, figuring out like what you're going to do next and what's the next best thing for you to do, that is easily like 4 hours a month or so that you are just spending wondering, what the heck am I supposed to do? What the heck am I supposed to be doing? So instead of playing this wondering game and then trying to get things done and then failing because maybe you picked the wrong thing that you didn't have enough time for, maybe you picked something that was just out of reach at the moment, or maybe you just wondered so much that you quit and you just sat down and chilled, which honestly, hey, we all need to sit down and chill sometimes. But when we actually need to get things done, maybe not so much. But regardless, finding these days and setting a day of the week that you plan ahead can save you so much time. And this goes with meal plans too, naturally. Planning ahead your meals saves you so much time and so much money to not do takeout. And we're going to meal plan strategically as well when we do this. This is absolutely going to have to be a podcast. I'm writing it down right now. I'll do a whole thing. Here we go. But making these plans ahead of time can seriously be a game changer if it's enacted effectively. So if you're wondering about how to do that, obviously there's all kinds of like content out there on how to approach it. But if definitely start with the free Busy Mama daily schedule reset. That's all my basics on what you need for a successful day and how to like revamp your days. Start there. And then we're going to be talking more about strategies and ways you can also join in on my Busy Mama Block Method course if you'd like to like really dive into it. And for you business mamas out there, I'm starting to do challenges every few months to really address your challenges in business and as a mom. So stick around. We're going to have more on that later. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Mama Gets It Done podcast. I hope that I did not talk too fast this week and that you all actually understood half the information. Definitely leave us a review and check out those links in the show notes. Those reviews help us so much. I really appreciate every single person who has left me a review so far. You guys are awesome. And make sure to stick around, because next week I'm going to be telling you all about what my schedule is as a busy business mama every single day and how I structure my day and how I get things done. And it's going to be super exciting. So have a great week. and give yourself a little bit of grace and a lot of coffee. Bye.